Hi, this is Melissa. I am making or sharing a journal that I made for a friend. It's kind of a long story. I wanted to do something very personal to share a little bit about who I am. And just so you understand, I'm what they call a global thinker. I don't think sequentially. I connect things back and forth, and that's what this journal shows. And a lot of my history is in this journal. I started it about a year ago, and the first version of it I didn't like, so I had a friend mark some of it up, and then I took it apart and put it in here. And this is made out of, these are grocery store bags. This is literally half of a grocery store bag for one page. And I crumpled them up in hot water, and then I hung them out to dry, and then I used them as my foundation pages. This is supposed to be a very sensory journal, so I've got bells, and I have skulls here, and there's the definition of memento mori here for the skulls. Some of the stuff I used, there's maps which show up in a lot of my stuff, and these are printed, these words, undefined, commonplace, and quotidian, are printed on paper that I rusted last spring. So here we go. I kind of had a plan, and then I didn't do it for a while, and then I went back to it. I really like how a lot of this came together. This is maybe my least favorite spread, although the more I look at it, the more I think, yeah, it kind of works. This here is fused plastic from like shopping bags and labels and packaging and stuff. And there's a pocket in the front, and it's got all sorts of stuff in it. It has an old envelope from back in the day when I was trying to get into mail art, but couldn't find the people who enjoyed my stuff, so... And it's got some stuff written in there. And then these are from my original version of this that I was gonna give my friend a bunch of my poetry, and I interspersed it with information from a medical dictionary. And so these are pages with my poetry on it. And my friend who I'd given it to, she marked some of them up, but she didn't get through them, and I got tired of waiting for her. So now I've retrieved them and put them in my journal. This was the original cover for the journal, which I actually happen to really like. It says here, the adolescent girl is curious about boys. And this is preparing for womanhood. This is a Richard Scarry illustration for Little Red Riding Hood. And then the inside, it's women's emotional life, rated M for mature. And some of the poems are very personal and they're very mature. So yeah, I'm good at that, huh? Mm-hmm. Here's one of my poems. I'll just read it to you briefly to give you an idea. It's called, She Thought She Wore White. Susan undressed in the dark. She pulled her blouse over her head and dropped it on the floor. She let her pants fall in a pool around her ankles. She left her panties on and crawled beneath the covers. On her back, she stared at the space that should be a ceiling. When the baby started to cry, she turned onto her stomach and closed her eyes. Anyhow, this opens. And this spread is mostly about guys, feelings about guys. So we have the measure of the man. A man wrapped up in himself makes a very small package. This is very old, from an old flannel graph that the church Sunday school teacher gave me. It's the script for using one of their flannel graph things. This is a men's underwear pattern, which I thought was really funny. And I used it as a pocket to stick all sorts of stuff into. So there's some more poems that I wrote. Some of my black and white photography. These are little baby robins. And here's a picture of me and my husband. And then a whole bunch more poems from that original incarnation of this journal.
I like this better.
You like what better?
I like this version.
You like it open like this?
I like the way that looks. Yeah.
You like the way that looks?
Yeah.
My daughter is videotaping this, my 11-year-old. And then we have the theme on measurements. Measure me for my coffin. Measure the man. Measures. How a boy grows. Measurements of the human body. And this came from my friend Kita. She sent me a bunch of stuff in the mail. And this piece of paper here comes with it. And I love how it plays with the colors that I spray painted on some of this plastic. And then this is the women's spread. I had some medical dictionaries I used for a lot of the artwork in this, and I really like some of the colors. This might be one of my favorite spreads in here. This is from an image from International Justice Mission. They help save women from sex trafficking, and this is a photograph of a woman through a mirror, so you can't tell who she is. This is some of my National Geographic Citrusol page, and one of the envelopes from back in the day when I was trying to do mail art is Rosie the Riveter. And there's more poems, and a picture of my little girls when they were really tiny so many years ago. And then here's some more poems and some journaling. And this is a picture of my girls when they were little. They're wearing t-shirts that my friend Kita had sent them when they were tiny.
Oh, really?
Yep, really.
Okay, I didn't know those ones were for her. I like the one Kirsty. I used to really like the one Kirsty was wearing.
And then this is sort of gives you a clue. It's sort of about the senses. Although this is specifically ears here. Happen to really like this movie, Sense and Sensibility. Totally hot in Alan Rickman. One of my poems. And then here's, this is an old Christmas card that I did when my girls were little. It uses the poem I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day that Walt Whitman wrote, originally for the death of Abraham Lincoln. And this is my oldest daughter ringing a bell. And this was one that was found in my Grandma Katz's nursing home when she passed. And there's more journaling and poems. And this is the birth announcement from my youngest daughter.
Oh.
This is supposed to be a very interactive journal with lots of texture, and like with the bells you can hear things, and lots of stuff to read, and my poems have a lot of extended metaphors in them. And then this is all about smell. There's more poems. This is my youngest daughter peeking through the windows of this envelope. And this is a poem called Silence. In silence, the sun pushes against the horizon's hem, thrusts free from the blanket of night. In silence, the transparent chrysalis tears, and the bedraggled wings fill the air for the first time. In silence, leaves go up in flame to fall smokeless on the green grass, where rakes gather them for fire. In silence, the darkness swirls around itself. Silence is broken by words. A voice like thunder, and softer than silence, booms across the void. Creation ruptures emptiness. And the poems all have little bits from that medical dictionary. I think I may have mentioned that already, but... And here's some more fused plastic. This one's actually got some fused plastic from a furnace filter. We have allergies in our house. Excuse me while I get more comfortable. My back is starting to get sore. And you open that up, and here's an envelope with poetries. And this has got, there's a cotton ball in here. It says smell me. It's got scent on it from my body spray. I wanted it to be truly all the senses in here. There's another poem. This is my my oldest daughter right here.
When she was younger.
And this is another one of my favorite spreads. This is on eyes. Eyes are a really big thing to me. I'm a photographer, and so I'm always interested in how we see and what we see. And in this envelope, there's a picture of my husband's eye that I took with the stitches in it after his cornea transplant he had a few years ago. And here's the spread on taste. I have some of these quotes on talking I think are really funny. Find the words on the tip of your tongue. It's really interesting how different pieces came together for this. This is an envelope I made from security envelopes, and it's got some journaling and poetry in it. What was that, Kira?
Do you have a taste thing in this?
No, I don't have a taste thing.
Oh.
And then here's the spread on the brain. It's another one of my favorites. And in this envelope, it's mostly poetry, it looks like. And more poetry. And the heart. I like this one. I love how that's a heart being sewn up. This is some, I was experimenting with oil marbling, and I actually worked on pages. This is a page from a medical dictionary that I oil marbled on, and I love how that looks. And more poetry. And then hands. I like this one too. I like the colors of this page.
You like hands.
Yeah, I do like hands. Here's a picture that I took of hands. It's got my girls' hands, my niece's hands, my mom's hands, and the really huge hands on top that are all rough and ugly are my brother's. It was back when he used to work at a place that did a lot with wood. And feet. I have a lot of these in here. They're definitions from a children's dictionary, and some of them are just so funny. This one says, the things you stand on are your feet. Sometimes you put your feet in socks and shoes, and sometimes you don't. Think of what trouble a centipede would have if he put all shoes on all his feet. Think of how many shoelaces he would have to tie. And then I have some more stuff tucked in a pocket behind this picture. And they're all tucked inside a tea box, which actually says, unlock the freshness. And this is the end. And that would be the end of my journal. I'm very excited to send it to my friend. The whole idea is for this to be an interactive experience, so I'm hoping she will make a video for me to share with you as well. Thank you and have a good day. Goodbye.